Hi everyone, my name's Krish Kandiah and I'm the president of London School of Theology. The other day on Facebook I asked some of my friends what their biggest challenges are in evangelism, and they told me very clearly, how do you share the gospel with people that just don't seem to care? That was their biggest issue by a long way, and it's a fair question that lots of us wrestle with. So I want to give you kind of 5 perspectives that have helped me to think about this problem. The first thing is, the key thing is sharing life. I don't know about you, but I am really annoyed with those cold callers that phone you at home, normally during dinner time, and try to sell you something over the phone. They're normally trying to sell me vitamins, a new gas deal, or some broadband. And I know they don't really care about me, because any question I ask them, they seem to have a pat answer. They're processing me through a kind of sheet that they're working through. And if our evangelism feels like that, we're just processing people rather than sharing life, understanding them for who they are, I think that's going to be a major turn-off for the gospel. The Apostle Paul in Thessalonians says, we were delighted to share with you not only the gospel, but our lives as well. And I think that's got to be a priority in the way that we share our faith. The second thing I would say is that we need to sow stories. I used to walk home from school with a mate I used to play rugby with. Rugby's like American football, but without the need for protective equipment, because it's a real kind of strong person's game. And we used to walk home from school, and I was reading the Bible quite voraciously as a teenager, and I would share with him what I was learning, particularly the parables of Jesus. Those were the stories that really kind of captivated me. And after a while, he was the year above me, so he went off to university. I didn't hear from him for another 3 years. And then he wrote me a letter saying that at university he'd come to faith. And it had been those parables of Jesus that had kind of stuck in his brain. They were like a little time bomb of truth ready to go off just when he was ready to receive it, and the Holy Spirit was able to bring that alive in his life. So I would say sowing stories into people's lives, particularly the Bible stories, the stories of Jesus, the parables of Jesus, can be these amazing gifts in our evangelistic witness. We might not see fruit from them immediately, but they are sticky. They remain within our consciousness for a long time. The third thing I would say is that we need to show unconditional love. If people feel that their relationship with us is dependent on them becoming a Christian, I think, again, that will be a major switch off for them. I'm part of a blokes book group that meets once every 6 weeks. We're all dads from a local school. There's people there who are astrophysicists. There's a guy who heads up a kind of mixing desk company. There's another guy who's a kind of senior barrister. And most of these guys are not Christians, but they know I'm a Christian. And so we always talk about a different book each time. It's always non-fiction, often to do with politics or art or psychology, all sorts of things. And I have an opportunity to talk about a Christian take on those subjects. But the thing about our group is membership of that group is not dependent on those guys becoming Christians. I hope they know, after 8 years of meeting, that my love for them as mates is independent of a decision they make about whether they're going to follow Jesus or not. And I think that's given us a great opportunity for really sharing life, sharing those our hopes and dreams and struggles together, and that's given wonderful opportunities to talk about Jesus. The fourth thing I would say is that we need to signpost another way of living. In our day and age, there are so many different voices about how to live. Everyone's offering wisdom about how to raise your kids, or what car you drive, or what to eat. We need to signpost the godly life. Jesus in Matthew's Gospel once said, "Let your light shine before men, that they may see your good deeds and praise your Father in heaven." And I think this effective combination of a verbal witness, speaking out the gospel, but also living out the gospel in the visible vicinity of our non-Christian friends, that has a prophetic edge to it. Jesus was the incarnation of the truth of God. He was the Word made flesh. And our job is to follow in his footsteps, to live a godly life, that we might point people towards Jesus. Now, too often it's a cop-out, and people think, I'll just let my life speak, I won't do the verbal witness alongside. But sometimes we cop out the other way, and we try to just do the verbal witness without the lifestyle transformation. So I think our witness will be really effective to those that don't care if we're living and showcasing a different way of living. And the last thing I would say is we need to pray the long game. Because, if you look at the journeys of faith that many people make, it tends not to be a doorstep conversion. Once they were an unbeliever, someone knocked on their door, shared the gospel with them, and before they sat down again, they'd become a Christian. For most of us, it's a long journey. Even if you think about the Damascus Road experience that Paul had, that was not an instantaneous conversion. Paul had been exposed to the Jewish scriptures, he'd been tutored under Gamaliel, he'd seen the death of Stephen, and all of those factors came together so that when Jesus appeared to him on the Damascus Road, that kind of joined all the dots for him. And so I think with our friends, with our family, with our work colleagues, we need to be making sure that we're praying for them and not just giving up after a short amount of time, thinking that God's not going to do anything. Actually, God is growing and working his gospel into their lives. We need to pray that would be effective. So I hope those 5 things help you. Don't forget, it was share your life, sow stories into people's imaginations, show unconditional love to those around us, signpost another way of living, and pray the long game. And I think we'll begin to see some effective outreach to people who just don't care. Thanks for listening. I'm Krish Kandiah. Look forward to talking to you again soon.